Good morning, Bishop Lynch. Today is Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. I'm Megan Mathena.
And I'm Chloe Phillips, and you're watching this week's edition of
Across Campus.
He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. My father told me.
Following this week's theme, our community,
Ed and Josh recap an event that shaped how our nation's community functions to this day.
Everyone knows the story of 9/11. Two hijacked planes hit and collapsed the Twin Towers. One hijacked plane flew into the Pentagon, and a final hijacked plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania thanks to the heroic efforts of the passengers on board. What everyone may not know are the long-standing effects 9/11 has had on the U.S. even to this very day. Flight has changed a lot since 9/11 in order to make sure nothing like that ever happened again. This included the creation of an entirely new government agency, the Transportation Security Administration, and the agency's arrival on the scene has led to some of the biggest and most lasting changes in airport security and beyond.
I think the biggest changes is the ideal that they suspect everyone.
While remembering and mourning 9/11 is no doubt important, what is even more important is how America as a country has recovered and moved past the tragedy. In particular, it's interesting to look at the rebuilding and transformation of the areas in New York where the planes hit.
But even from the very first, right, the promise was we will rebuild, right? And the mayor of New York, that was a promise and that was a commitment of the country. And so the new building came out of that, but at the same time, we knew that we needed some sort of memorial for that kind of attack that grabs the attention, right? And it brought the country together. In many ways, I think we have more respect for people who are willing to risk their lives in emergency situations, since a few hundred of them died on that day in New York City. But it's sort of the commitment, not just to the people who did sacrifice themselves and inhale the dust, get hit by things, whatever the case was going on, and the emotional difficulties coming out of that, but at the same time, in a way, it's a promise to future first responders that when you put yourself on the line, the country is going to be with you and support you and your family. It's not like those professions are among the highest paid in our country to start with, so people have to be dedicated to serve in that calling.
Today may be a day of remembrance, but it is also important that we make sure that we take the right steps in moving forward and securing a bright future for the country. This has been Edward Brady and Josh Curtis reporting for Across Campus.
From this tragic event, our nation was able to rise together as a community.
Thank you, Ed and Josh, for that story. Following the events of 9/11, places all around the nation cracked down on security.
Bishop Lynch High School strives to create its own culture of safety.
Hey Nevaeh, did you hear about that kid that wasn't wearing his ID?
No?
I heard Eagle Eye got him.
Who's Eagle Eye?
Good morning. This is Mr. Cogswell, aka Cog/Eagle Eye, going around to check on IDs today.
Let's see what the community has to say about the importance of wearing our IDs.
Well, there's been a few issues in the past, especially with businesses and other schools, where people have been let into the building without having their IDs, and then bad things have happened.
So I honestly think that it's important so we can get into different things and not have like an active shooter in this school, because that's been happening lately.
Please wear your IDs. They're a simple task.
Well, now I know why IDs are important. But what happens if I forget mine?
So we have the ability to let people into our building, into an area that is secure, which is on the west end. But no other doors should be opened by anyone for even any other student here at the school, because we never know when something may have happened to that student, and that's why they don't have their ID.
If they don't have their badge at all, they need to go to the front. Sometimes there's a little conversation that goes on through the closed door where I'm trying to remind them that they should have had their badge. It's kind of like this. Go to the front. No, I'm not opening the door. No, I'm not opening the door. Go.
Thank you, Bishop Lynch, for wearing your IDs to help keep our schools safer. This has been Michael Rodriguez
And Nevaeh Lopez.
reporting for Across Campus.
Thank you, Michael. Well, okay. So remember, guys, always wear your IDs and never let anybody in the door.
Thank you, Nevaeh and Michael, for that informative report.
There are many important symbols around the Bishop Lynch campus.
Jewel and Isabel dive into Bishop Lynch's history and found many interesting symbols around our campus.
The house system, the mission statement banners, these are only two of the many symbols we have scattered around Bishop Lynch.
These symbols have built Bishop Lynch as we know it. Is our community aware of all of them?
The banners in the atrium have the words of our school's mission statement on it, the words we say each and every morning.
I think our mission statement is a live document that reminds each day, reminds all of us to make sure we're living up to the standards that we say we have. It reminds us to be not only good student, but also good citizen and follow our Catholic faith.
A symbol is a mark, sign, or word that indicates an underlying message or deeper meaning. Symbols have been around for centuries. The double-headed eagle motif, for example, the symbol of modern Russia, has been around since 3000 BCE.
My favorite school symbol is probably the shield because it's like a sign of protection and strength. I think the trees represent some saints or something, I don't know.
The 12 trees actually represents the 12 disciples.
I think it's important for our school to have these symbols because it's just represents that we have a safe and inclusive environment.
My favorite school symbol is Friar Fred because he's at every game, basketball, football, and he just brings school spirit to all of us.
Administration took a really long time to come up with the specific name because I think each one of our house represent a quality or a trait that we hope that we can all imitate and achieve.
These symbols represent people and things that have shaped Bishop Lynch into what it is today.
Who knows, maybe you'll be a school symbol one day.
So next time you're wandering around campus, look for some of those interesting symbols around our community.
Thank you, Jewel and Isabel, for that interesting story.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of Across Campus. We'll see you next week.
Where the news is.
Right where you are. Across campus.
Campus.